We have liftoff. Go Super Heavy. Go Starship. Thanks for all the historic flights. Bad one. Vehicles continue downrange. Raptor chamber pressure is nominal. Booster and ship showing nominal power and telemetry. All right, we are about 45 seconds into flight. We still feel the vibration here at Star Factory. We are seeing 33 out of 33 Raptor engines active on Super Heavy as it moves across the Gulf. Coming up next is Max Q. Max Q. We've now passed through the phase of maximum aerodynamic pressure. The next major milestone is hot staging. We still have 33 out of 33 Raptors running. Super Heavy continues its climb. Hot staging is coming up in just over a minute. At that point, we'll see all but 3 Raptor engines shut down on Super Heavy. This is our version of most engines cutting off instead of main engine cutoff. Then we'll release the clamps holding Starship to the hot stage adapter. After that, it will ignite its 6 Raptor engines, push away from Super Heavy, and continue its ascent. In about 30 seconds, engine shutdown will begin on Super Heavy. You'll notice them turn off in groups until only the 3 center engines remain active for the hot staging process. Then we'll look for ignition of the 6 ship Raptors. All right, successful hot staging maneuver. We have 12 of 13 engines lit again on the booster as it begins its boost back. More importantly, we have all 6 Raptors on the ship firing, and it will continue climbing toward space. Meanwhile, the boost back burn continues using those 13 engines. Well, 12 of the 13. And then we go down to 3 before shutting down at the end of boost back. This sends Super Heavy back toward its planned splashdown zone in the Gulf. Right after this boost back burn ends, we will also separate the hot stage section. This will be our final time doing that. All right, boost back burn has ended. We should see the hot stage now. The hot stage separates and will descend for splashdown in the Gulf. Meanwhile, the 6 ship Raptors will keep firing for about 5 more minutes. Next event for the booster is the landing burn. There's a great tracking shot. We're dumping some propellant on the way back. All right, for the booster, one of the main objectives is this landing burn. You can see the hot stage moving toward the left side. That is the base of the booster. It's about to pass in front of the propellant dump. They appear close together, but there's a safe distance between them. The hot stage will continue down to splash in the Gulf, while the booster returns for its landing burn. Starship is on nominal trajectory. All systems look good. Jake and Amanda, are you with me down there? Yeah, definitely. The crowd is gathering here in the office. You can really feel the energy. Great to see the booster heading toward the splashdown zone in the Gulf. Yeah, the shaking down here was intense. The windows are intact, so that's good. Booster is descending now. We're at about 30 km, all right. As we approach landing, just like with tower catches, we'll perform a 13 engine landing burn to slow down, this time in a V3 configuration. Entering the denser part of the atmosphere, the booster uses 4 hypersonic grid fins to guide itself through entry and toward the landing point. We're about 20 seconds from the start of the landing burn. We'll ignite 13 center engines, then reduce to 5 to slow the booster, and finally down to 3, shutting all engines off while still about 200 m above the surface. So, the booster is about to enter the final part of the landing sequence. Applause, booster landing burn shutdown. And there we heard it. Booster landing burn shutdown. We saw the 13 to 5 to 3 sequence. I'm a little jealous of the crowd right now. All right, back to the ship. The ship is still moving as expected. We have just under 2 minutes left. The next major milestone is SECO second stage engine cutoff. The 3 vacuum-optimized engines shut down first, followed by the 3 center engines. We should be less than a minute away. All right, the vacuum engines have shut off. It has been an impressive day so far. Hard to believe all of this happened in only 10 minutes. All booster objectives were met, including the V3 style landing burn. Now, all attention shifts to the ship as we prepare for in-space operations. All right, looks like the door is open. Applause, we're seeing a bit of movement there, Dan. Coax it along. Get it moving, Jake. There it goes. First one is out. All right, first deployment complete. Getting ready for the second one. We'll reset to the center position. Yes, it takes about a minute for each deployment. Applause, the motion looks smooth. They made a few tweaks to the rails. If you watched the last deployment, there were a few bumps along the way. But everything is moving cleanly this time. And as mentioned earlier, and worth repeating, Starship will eventually deploy Starlink's more advanced V3 satellites, which add 60 terabits per second of capacity per launch. That's 20 times more than each Falcon 9 launch today. Impressive progress. And anyone following Starship knows Starlink has been essential during these flight tests, providing the views we're seeing right now as well as real-time data during every phase of flight. We have several dozen cameras on board Starship, along with additional cameras across the globe, including the Indian Ocean with our floating buoys. There goes another one. And all of this is brought together using Starlink, not only giving us views from space, but also on Earth, connecting the whole team and letting viewers follow along with every Starship mission. Applause. I think that's number 4. Someone check the count. We have 4 Starlink terminals on the outside of Starship. They communicate with the constellation, giving us around 120 megabits of downlink bandwidth for real-time HD video and telemetry. So not only do we get these views, but we also receive engineering data continuously even through re-entry when a plasma layer would normally block signal. Starlink's frequency strength allows us to maintain connection. All right, next one heading out the door. There it goes. Applause. Starlink is the world's largest satellite constellation operating in low Earth orbit, delivering high-speed, low-latency internet. This brings connectivity to millions of people worldwide, including many who never had access before. Applause. Today, Starlink serves more than 150 countries, territories, and markets, with over 7 million active customers and growing. To meet global demand, SpaceX expanded its factory in Bastrop, Texas, near Austin, and introduced Starlink Mini as well as an upgraded standard kit. Music. One note about the satellite deployments. They follow the same suborbital path as the ship. These dummy satellites will not reach orbit. They are expected to burn up on re-entry. Music. All right, a few more to go. One of these days, we'll do a deployment in daylight, but for now, we trade darkness for better re-entry views during the day. Applause. Music. Applause. I think we have one more left. Applause. With payload deployment complete, Starship will now close its payload door and continue coasting around Earth toward the Indian Ocean. Here we go. Raptor ignition and shutdown. Everything looks good. Just a reminder, we are pushing limits, so don't be surprised if the descent isn't entirely smooth. That's intentional. We're testing boundaries. Dan, you can see our speed indicator in the bottom left. It looks like we're slowing down a bit faster now. The sun is starting to rise again. There it is. Applause. The skirt is intact so far. On Flight 10, we entered with a section missing. That profile was planned to simulate a return to launch site approach for a tower catch. So, don't be surprised if the ship begins to turn. In the bottom right, it looks like we've made it to the Indian Ocean. We're approaching our bank maneuver. Ship landing startup. Applause. There's the landing burn. 3 down to 2. Starship has landed. As noted earlier, we are not planning to recover the ship today. Welcome back to Earth, Starship.